Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the anime My Happy Marriage Season 2 on Netflix. And I overall really enjoyed this one. Even though I could be like, hey, if they just did stuff on the marriage aspects, that would be fine. If they just did stuff on the supernatural aspects, that would be fine. It still works together with what they're doing here, and seeing the kind of social stuff kind of going on. So we still mainly get the focus of Kudo and Miho as they're pretty much trying to navigate their marriage and everything. Miho has a really good one where she pretty much gets more assertive as the season goes on, to even refusing Prince Takehito the offer of living in the Imperial Palace. But she doesn't do it as a dick. It's or an asshole kind of way. She's just, no, I kind of like what I've got. And everything that happens in this season, it's like, wow, that's a really kind of cool journey. And then learning how Kudo was brought up by his parents, that's an important pivotal kind of aspect that we get really in the beginning, because we see this father kind of pops up and like, ah, shit, fuck, and he's like, yeah, how about you guys just visit out, when we see that there's some weird ass shit kind of going around Kudo's father's kind of estate. So he kind of goes out to kind of investigate what's going on, leading to us to figure out about this kind of gifted commune kind of place that's kind of giving people powers, and it's being done as kind of like a Splinter Cell to kind of do kind of a revolution by this Usui kind of dude. Who we learn is part of the Usabas, and he considers himself Miho's father, even though he's not Miho's father, and because of his weird fucked up relationship with Miho's mother, and that he can affect anybody's kind of senses, like any of the five senses. And we see this to crazy ass degree as the season kind of goes on, and him as an antagonist is pretty kind of cool, and does showcase certain kind of things of what the imperial power structure has to change, because the Usabas were kind of like a nuclear deterrent that was kind of outside of the system. However, we see that what happens is, if one of those fuckers goes rogue, you have no idea until it kind of comes and fucking thundercocks you in the goddamn nuts, and you're like, ah, fuck me, and it's like, we get the emperor kind of kidnapped, we get everybody kind of on the lockdown kind of shit, and it gets nuts, because we see Kudo, well, he's pretty much left Miho back at his family's estate, finds these people that are getting powers and everything like that. It's like, oh shit. He doesn't even really question most of the kind of stuff with this. It's like, yeah, but we do learn that he was impressed upon. He pretty much has an Uncle Ben moment. Great power, great responsibility, which is awesome. I love that as a motivation for a character, but it's really kind of cool to see this with this, and it doesn't feel like it's aping Spider-Man, since I'm saying it that way. It's just that's the biggest kind of touchstone with that kind of one that I've got, and how I'm comparing it to what's going on, because the commander that he was really influenced by, who was a Gudo's, yeah, his subordinate's kind of father, was like, he wanted Kudo to take over, but he's like, nah, and then that dude really was like, you got these powers, you have a responsibility to protect those that cannot protect themselves, kind of stuff. And of course, he was losing more of his power, and put himself into a position that he lost his life. He's like, I can't let that happen again, and that's why he was kind of doing this, and he's kind of protecting Miho. As everything's kind of going on, we see that Miho's able to kind of like protect herself and impress the household Kudo kind of staff, because the mother's pretty much put that on and clean shit, you bitch, kind of shit. It's like, lady. And of course she does it without kind of complaint, is trying to earn the mother's kind of approval, and Kudo's like, what are you fucking doing, Kyoka? And it's like, the mother was even going to slap her, but like the father popped up and like, hey, no, and it's like, oh god. But she does kind of impress, because this one dude was being needed to be brought out of what was kind of going on with the gifted commune, and Miho was going to use her dream sight, but Arata pops up and like, hey, watch your ass, let me help you then. And she was able to help him, and the mother's kind of like, okay, and then pretty much gives this kind of like bow to her. It's like, I was going to toss this shit out, but you can have it, bitch. And it's like, and then her wearing it as the season kind of goes on is very nice kind of touches. Like, yeah, she really treasures it. And then, of course, that's when Usui kind of pops up. It's like, oh, shit. So since that's kind of been in the thing, and he's really kind of focused on Mio and the Dream Maiden thing and trying to pretty much change everything. Because Mio's mother wanted to pretty much become the Dream Maiden and make it so that the Usubas could lead a normal life. And it's like, oh, that's really nice. Even though Usui's pretty much a fucked up psychopathic fucknut and likes injuring and hurting people and being outright kind of dick. And of course, she kind of pushes him away once she has Mio and all that kind of stuff. So he's going, I'm gonna do all this shit. It's like, oh, fuck me. So they pretty much bring Mio into the kind of garrison. We get introduced to Junoichi. Yes, who we learn she really wants to be friends with Mio, and they have a nice kind of cute kind of friendship before we get like the bomb kind of drop that and seeing them also deal with the sexism and everything. I think was handled pretty well. It wasn't over the top or banging into anybody's kind of head. It was done organically enough to see Junoichi trying to deal with being a woman in the military, and Mio trying to deal with people being assholes to her as well, and actually sticking up for themselves. But the thing is, their friendship is jeopardized when you learn that Junoichi was one of Kyoka's fiance, betrothed kind of things, and that she loves Kyoka, even though it's more kind of one-sided. And Mio's like, I don't want you to not be my friend. Before Usui pretty much tricks her ass into letting Usui in, and this of course gets her kind of fucked over, but she then gets transferred out instead of being pretty much the bodyguard of Mio. Gets put to another kind of capital, and she kind of leaves for a little bit, but I mean she pops up every now and then, pretty much for this kind of like the ladies' night kind of thing that Mio and Kyoka's sister, the lady in waiting at the Kudo estate, not the main family estate, but Kyoka and Miho's estate, and Prince Takahito, Takahito. Yeah. Let's see here. And this is, of course, when Kyoka was pretty much drawn off by the Emperor kind of thing, but, like, came back. Arata pretty much looks like he's been swayed by Usui to work against Mio and the rest of them to achieve his objectives. However, we learn at the end that he was playing pretty much the long game and had talked to Prince Takahito and pretty much had this kind of planned out, which I'm glad they kind of went with. I didn't want him to go complete and utter dick mode. I don't think like his character deserved that, or Miho kind of deserved to deal with that kind of fucked up situation. I mean, she's dealt with enough kind of fucked up situations, so it's like, then because we see that he pretty much like injures Kyoka, as we see that it's pretty much done trying to pretty much do a kind of coup thing, and Kyoka gets drawn off, and his staying at the Imperial Palace. Yeah. Shikigami? Of course, he confesses his love to her as he's pretty much drawn off. We see that, like, the grotesqueries are pretty much being transformed humans. And the one kind of dude... God, I don't... He's able to kind of figure out a way to kind of, like, screwed over, and Miho was pretty much getting killed by this grotesquerie, but she wasn't going to do it, but she also is able to kind of force herself to awaken her dream powers, and then pretty much comes up with this whole kind of thing to help rescue Kudo and get him out of there with his Shikigami kind of like little kid thing, which I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting, but it's mainly just to kind of show like Kid Kyoka pretty much, and like the Shikigami's like, whatever, fine, but it's kind of cool to see Mio take charge and do all this kind of stuff to rescue Kyoka. Getting Gudo on our side, and having him deal with certain kind of stuff as we get to the end game, where we get Usui fighting Kyoka and Arata, and her being fully awakened and kind of trying to get her mother's kind of feelings across to kind of get him out of his asshole mode. But she was unable to do that because he has decided, I will be permanent asshole mode. And then we get the whole thing because she was able to see that if she wasn't as successful, Arata and Usui would kill each other. However, what happened is that Arata made it, but killed Usui. And he just wasn't... And she kind of feels bad for it, but she kind of, like... I'd be like, listen, you did your best, okay? Kyoka is like, I can't deal with this shit. And Gudo pretty much, like, was able to do what needed to be done as a commander, so he feels better kind of handing that off, resigning from the military, Mio refusing Prince Takahito, and them just kind of like being together, planning out putting like a cherry tree in their garden, and it's like, oh, cool. Let's see. Yeah, those are the main kind of ones. Of course, getting the kind of proposals, seeing them kiss and everything, and just having a nice time. I like seeing their relationship grow, and them grow as individuals and learn more about them. Understanding Kyoka's upbringing and the kind of contentious relationship he has with his mother. Mio kind of growing and getting more assertive, learning more about her powers, and being much more proactive in the story is very nice. I mean, her going to rescue Kyoka and then also politely declining Prince Takahito's offer is a very big kind of step before them moving forward and getting through the whole kind of marriage kind of thing and getting ready to kind of plan it and do all this kind of stuff. And her pretty much being in the good graces of the father and eventually getting in the good graces of the mother. They did a lot of stuff in 13 episodes without it feeling overstuffed or rushed pacing-wise. They kind of stuck to the same kind of grotesquerie kind of stuff. They didn't really hit that much on the kind of political ramifications of people with these kind of supernatural powers, because I did like the Gifted Commune pretty much doing like, hey, these motherfuckers have these powers and are like ruling our society. Holy fucking shit. What should we really kind of do with this? That really isn't hit on upon as much as it is. However, I don't blame that because the main kind of focus is the relationship between Kyoka and Mio, even though I think you have brought this up and this should be pretty much a big kind of plot point. If you're going to balance these two kind of stories, and the thing is, the supernatural power aspect is going to have vast big kind of influences on the kind of social hierarchy and structures of what goes on within everything with the Kudos, the Usabas, and Miho and all that kind of stuff. So it's something that should be dealt with. I don't think it needs to be a major focus, but we need to kind of bring that in. So I did like that was a part here, and we'll have to kind of see what goes on. I'm pretty sure they I think there's going to be a season 3. I wouldn't mind, like, with anything with Netflix, I don't know what their fucking metrics of success are. I mean, we're still waiting for a Comey season, like, more Comey seasons, and it's just like, yep, where you at, B? It's like, I don't fucking know. I'm in the fucking, like, I don't even know what department section I'm in this goddamn store. Why? They don't put shit in. They want you trapped, motherfucker. I walked past 2 toilets, a bed, and a fucking gnome, and I still don't know if I'm in Home and Garden or not. I know that's something really fucking weird and random, but that's sometimes what happens with this channel. But I hope we see more of this kind of story, even though if we don't, I would accept this as a conclusion. It's really weird for me to have to go into that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure there's going to be, like, a season 3, because I think this has been doing pretty well for him. I hope so, because I like the characters, I like the world, and I like the developments. Action, it's good enough. I mean, it's not the worst kind of one, but your main focus is the relationships, and it's the relation. And I get that, and they do that very well. So action, I'm fine with that, because it's not an action anime. It's a love anime, slice of life kind of anime that happens to have action in it. I don't go to somebody as a baker and expect them to fucking brisket fucking awesome. It's like, yeah, bitch, you make some great ass Danish, but can you smoke this pork butt, baby? How about no? I mean, I could, but it's gonna be basic as fucking shit, so know what your objective is and understand how that works within your frame cell. Otherwise, you're gonna be saying that a fish is stupid for being unable to climb a tree. Bitch, that ain't my job. It ain't in my description. What else do you want from me? So, if you are able to climb a tree at all, I feel that that's work well done enough. Hence why I talk about the action like I do with this. Because otherwise we mainly get the same kind of oni kind of like demon kind of things that we get with the grotesqueries. Amping up people, that was a very interesting kind of change up aspect to impart supernatural powers or turn them into kind of grotesquerie kind of fusion things. That should have definitely ramifications that should be explored more, because because it's funny, because these orb thingies that they made had grotesquerie stuff in it. It's like, what if we got into the explanation that these people have supernatural powers because their ancestors fucking ate the grotesqueries to get powers? It's like, oh shit, that'd be fucked up. Well, yeah, that'd be fucked up. So, I overall enjoyed this. If you enjoyed the first season, I'd say you'd enjoy this second season. They don't change up much. It's just a nice kind of continuation of it. I know you're like, oh, of course, if you like the first one, you'd probably like the second one. Sometimes they drastically change shit in any kind of second season, and you're like, this is a completely different anime. That sometimes happens, so it's like, yeah, that's not always a given. So, yes, I would definitely recommend this. Again, the supernatural aspects and the everything kind of going nutty and blood and shit going on. Be careful, see what goes on with that. But nothing completely and utterly heinous or horrendous or anything. So I still love the kind of wholesome aspects, and that's where I think this shines the brightest. So those are my opinions on the anime season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.